you hear about you and you have OCD or whatever, you like to be touched or whatever. And so you hear that story and you go, oh man, that's so strange. The guy doesn't like to be touched or whatever. And then I saw you on Bill Maher's podcast and you told the story as to why, and this goes back to what we were talking about with like empathy and stuff like that.
Right.
That is the most insane story I've ever heard as to how...
You're talking about the fact that I got, as a kid, I got bitten, but I had OCD, but maybe that's why, I have obsessive compulsive disorder.
Right.
But why does it reveal itself in the way of touch or ickiness on my hands? And I think you're alluding to the story that I told about how when I was like 6 or 7 years old, I was in Miami and I got bitten by a sandfly.
Right.
And it laid its eggs in my hand.
And you could see it moving around.
Well, yeah.
Right?
So I had like these, it looked like mosquito bites that were kind of itchy, and I would rub them because they were itchy. And when I would rub them, they crawled away under my skin. And I would touch, I'd have these bumps, and then I'd watch the bumps move up and down my arms and legs. And my mom took me to a dermatologist. And apparently this is pretty common in cattle. So, but not humans. So they took me and tried to burn them with liquid nitrogen live. They put me in my underpants in front of there was a.
This is the part that's really humiliating and insane.
Just being in my underpants in front of dermatologists.
Well, the way
Have
I
you
heard
seen
it,
me in my underpants?
I mean, if you want to drop your pants, we can check it out. But
not now. But anyway, I was lying in my underpants because there was a dermatology convention in town, and he thought this was a great thing to. I was a part of a presentation, and they put me on a gurney, and they kind of tied me down in my underpants, and there was a whole room of doctors. I assume they're doctors.
Tied you down?
Well, held me down, and then he said that the way he was going to do it was liquid nitrogen is like. Dry ice, like it's so cold it burns.
Yeah.
And they would drop it on these worms under my skin, just on my skin, and you could watch my skin burn and bubble and smoke and seep. You could smell it. I was burning, and I was screaming like a banshee. And my mom, after one, got up. They didn't give me any anesthetic or anything. My mom got up and she scooped me up and carried me out to the car in my underwear crying. And we never went back to the doctor. And then every night we would pick one, and she would take a really rough washcloth and just rub it, and it would feel good because it was itchy, but she'd continue to rub it until it broke, until the skin broke and all the eggs would come out, the larvae would come out. And that took about 6 months to get rid of them. So I have like an icky...
Yeah.
Traumatized.
Like it makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was shocked when I heard that story because
So I'm not such a mean judge, am I?
No, you're not.
Now you understand.
No.
Okay.
Now I know why you are. Or you are mean sometimes. It's those nasty sandflies underneath your skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't sit at the beach anymore. I don't like the sand.
You can't do the sand.
I don't like the sand.
Oh man. Have you made any inroads on your OCD?
I do. I think the fact that I'm here and talking to you. No, that's right. Not even a joke. My mental health is so debilitating.
Yeah.
At times that I have kind of the same things that Howard Hughes was diagnosed with.
Yep.
And he ended his life naked in the fetal position in a room, peeing into a bottle and being served all his meals under a door. And I'm not that far from that. The fact that I'm medicated. And I seek therapy, and I'm surrounded by understanding people allows me to be out and about, But
it seems like you have like a really good support system here. Like you have.
I do.
You have your kids working for you.
I know,
which is great.
Working with me.
Okay,
but,
sorry.
Yeah, I've employed my children. We're making sneakers.
You are?
No.
Oh.
Because I just thought if
I
you're going to
gotcha.
get kids working for you,
Yeah,
you might as well.
iPhones, get sneakers. Gotcha.
Yes. There are times, there's lows and highs, and there's times when I can't leave my room.
Was COVID tough for you?
Crazy tough. And more importantly, when I got COVID, The hardest part for me was physically I didn't get that ill, but because of what it is and how you deal with it, I had to be locked away, right? I had to be, what do you call it?
Quarantine.
Quarantine. And in the room, and my wife is, immune compromised. So just being in a room for just over a week alone with nothing to do, with nothing, I went somewhat insane, and I'm still recovering from what the trauma of
just being locked away.
Oh, wow. So and then there's also what I cope with or try to cope with even before COVID is just my fear of germs and my fear of this doesn't help. So it's a mess, and I feel like I'm.
But I think you've done like an amazing job, and you've also been somebody that put it out there for everybody else. That like, because mental health, I remember seeing like a piece on you in like the 90s, and it's like, Howie Mandel is, a TV star, but he deals with something called OCD. And back then, nobody would talk about that stuff. So you've done a great job.
Well, thank you.
You really have.
But, it's just a guy screaming for help is really what it is. It's not really a job. I suffer from mental health issues, and I'm not alone. And I don't think there's anybody out there alive that doesn't at some point in their life need some coping skills. And whether it's the coping to get over a relationship, or whether it's the coping to just deal with the pressure of work, or whether coping with becoming a parent. You don't have to be diagnosed with something, and I think that we leave our mental health by the wayside. And especially with the advent of social media now, I think I worry mostly about people's mental health. I don't think social media is good for
mental health. Terrible.
It's not good for mental health.
No. I don't read comments. I don't look at
I know, but even the fact that you have to, entertain or inform or perform each and every day is a lot of pressure on people, and regardless of whether you're being loved for it or whatnot, it's just a lot of pressure.
Did you like it better when you couldn't, when you didn't have to reach for your phone and make a TikTok, when you were just like on a movie set or on a TV set or working on your stand-up?
The real answer is no. The truth about the advent of all these platforms is, the business that exists now doesn't even resemble the business that I went into. When I went into comedy, you asked me at the beginning if I knew Richard Pryor. You had to be in LA at the Comedy Store or the Improv to be seen to get anything, and that was where you got seen. And then you had to be on the Tonight Show. And then if you got on the Tonight Show, you would get a sitcom or a movie. You'd get on TV, and then you would become a movie star. There was one path, and that was all there was.
Right.
And today, and there was only like 3 networks. Fox didn't even exist then. So it was NBC, CBS, and ABC. And then you had some local shit. But that's all you had. And when you got on the Tonight Show, 30 million people were seeing you. Just that your life was not the same the next day. And now, number one, there's 600 networks, stations, and any that people can go to, besides gaming, besides social network, social media, besides other podcasts and other distractions. So today, just to be known, like there are people that are selling out arenas that you don't even know their name, and that would never happen before. But now it is. So you're so siloed. You can garner an audience and have the rest of the world not know you. But the beauty of it is that you can get seen or make money on one little platform and never leave your room, sit on your bed in your underpants and be a TikTok star. I have over 10 million followers on TikTok. That doesn't translate to the people listening to this podcast. That doesn't translate even to the people who are watching AGT. That doesn't translate to anything. Every platform or everywhere you get an audience, that's a totally separate audience. So, I enjoy this. I enjoy the distraction of having to be busy each and every day and doing something, because I'm not good with being idle.
That's why you keep going.
Number one.
That makes a lot of sense.
And number two, to maintain some relevance,
Relevance, yeah.
Relevance.
Yeah.
Relevance.
It's a big word.
Yeah, it was also a good movie.
Also, Relevance.
I was talking about the movie.
Denzel Washington.
Yes.
He plays the Civil War.
Yes, he started with
I know
me.
Denzel Washington started with you on St. Elsewhere.
Yeah. So
keep up with him?
He calls me from time to time. How would you play this? And I don't have time to answer. But
he's a good actor, huh?
Yeah.
A sore spot?
No. He's
good.
He's great.
He's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. So not he. I also love the fact that I want to be relevant. You know,